We actually currently do receive some money from the City of New Orleans. Again, we contract with the Office of Juvenile Justice, which is based in Baton Rouge, the state office, to provide intensive reentry, community reentry services to young people on parole. We also get funding through the Department of Education for our GED and literacy program. Again, that money in itself, unfortunately, does not cover the cost of the services or what we need, so that's where private foundation and individual donor support comes in to really make sure that we can meet every need of these kids. And if that's in-house mental health counseling or social work support, if that's school uniforms, if that's bus passes, we ran the amount of kids utilizing bus tokens now to come to No Play. We're spending almost $20,000 a year.
Wow.
Purchasing bus tokens to make sure our young people have access to our learning center. And again, that's something that we'd really like to push back at the city on. Like, we are doing a service here by ensuring these young people have a safe, relevant, engaging education, and we would love some sort of assistance from RTA or whomever to make sure that we could really provide the sort of transportation services that we need. And you know, even RTA, they have limited routes. We still get concerned about some of our young women waiting too long, especially if they have a child or it's late at night. But again, those are expenses we're incurring as a relatively small agency, just because we really want all of our services to be accessible and to have as few barriers as possible. Again, just so many young people don't even know they have opportunities. And then the next step is how to take advantage of opportunities if they're out there. And I think so many people have been told no so often that they're nervous or apprehensive or don't have the self-confidence to open up doors. So our motto is really to reduce as many barriers as possible to at least get young people in our door. And from there, we'll just meet them where they're at and work with them from there.
Well, when I'm coming to you through the juvenile justice system, if I'm a kid, I've done something to draw everyone's attention to me. And so the judge calls you up, wants to get you involved, I guess. Is that how it works? Do the courts contact you, or how do you usually find the interface for that?
For the youth on parole, they're actually referred to us through their probation and parole officers, who are through the Office of Juvenile Justice. So they would make a referral indicating that a young person needed the intensive services we provide.
And I mean, what triggers them to call you? What are they looking for you to do for their parolee or probationer?
Well, first of all, we have a very good reputation and track record of being successful with services, with outcomes, with a low recidivism rate. But also, we're the only reentry juvenile provider that contracts with them in this entire region, which covers all the parishes. So, like Glenna said, we only have 25 slots. But when those are full, there's other young people coming out who don't have the intensive reentry
So they're
support.
just, I mean, I know the probation officers, a lot of times, they've just got so many cases, they can barely fill out their paperwork and do whatever, again, with rules and government. So they're like, hey, take this person, and I think I got one here that needs a little help, and you just kind of step into that place. I guess the probation theoretically could do more, but it's the same problem.
And we work
resources.
really well with them, and I think, again, our motto is individualized.
I know a lot of probation officers. Most of them actually, they're not like some other kinds of law enforcement. Sometimes you think they kind of got a chip on their shoulder, maybe they like having a gun, but most of the probation parole officers, they seem like they got a soft spot there. They like to have the gun, but then they got that little, they got some kind of spot in their heart where, and
I think, again, with kids, they really are supportive,
We have an excellent relationship with most of the juvenile probation officers.
Okay, but you only take 25 of those.
25.
Right now,
There's always a waiting list. We do get calls from the judges, who are asking us, engaging us, trying to get us to work with kids. And in instances, we have tried to be accommodating to as many. Part of what Melissa talked about, the GED program, you don't have to be any court-involved individual to get into the GED. In terms of our groups that she mentioned that we do in the evenings, although we took a break for the summer, we are actually, we have allowed individuals to come and be a part of those services during that time. Not necessarily becoming a client per se, but wherever we can, provide services, whether it's substance abuse or counseling or anger management, we try to offer those services to those individuals, within limitations to provide the services.
And I think just a prime example, again, of us not being reactive but proactive, and Glennis really took the lead on this with some of our social work interns from Tulane. was the development of a summer camp again. And we utilize in-kind resources, general operating resources, and we now have over 20 young people, 8 to 14 from the community, who otherwise wouldn't have been necessarily engaged in anything during the summer. Today they came back from a movie with all of our youth advocates and other staff. And so again, it's us just really trying to put something together that gives young people a safe, supportive space. And that's really just what it's all about.
That's just totally awesome.
Well,
And
besides the monetary donations y'all take to fund this amazing program, there's also other donations that people can give, and what are they?
We are always looking for good computers. We are looking for tickets to Hornets games, to Saints games, to Zephyrs games, so we can do other enrichment activities. If people have tickets to the aquarium, to other events, because we do really encourage our youth advocates to do both group and one-on-one experiences. If people can help us get school supplies for our kids, we try to make sure that they have all their school supplies purchased and their book sacks and their school uniforms. We also look for tutors and folks who have special skill sets who maybe want to spend some time at our literacy center working with struggling students, or to even help sponsor someone to get a bus pass for a month if we know that someone's going to work back and forth and that's an issue.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, if they get a job and they need help with clothing or uniforms, all those things are really important and essential to really make that person successful.
I would also say that we are always looking for positions to place our young people in and to work with employers. And so if employers are supportive of the mission of trying to empower young people to be self-sufficient.
Jobs for some of these kids in the summer is a really important deal. So.
And some of ours in a year round. Some of our older youth are 16, 17, 18. And if we can keep them engaged in generating legitimate income, our odds of keeping them out of the system are that much greater. So we also look for folks interested in working with us in tandem, though, to give them support also to be successful on a job.
Right, and you want people to be productive and be able to do something for themselves and learn that process without it being like, cutting corners off of plastic bags and stuff like that. I mean, it's a matter of learning how to live life and the lessons of life in a positive way. So, I think I know what we need here, okay, is we need more money for you guys, okay?
Definitely.
More, and we don't need like the nickels and the quarters here, okay? So, if you know somebody that knows somebody, if you're friends with Mitch Landrieu, or if you got, your cousin works for a big corporation, because they give away lots of money. It's easy to remember the name of this incredible organization. It's YouthEmpowermentProject.org. They're right on the net. If you can't, I'm not good with numbers. YouthEmpowermentProject.org. Let's support them. And sometimes that's just getting the word out and letting people know. You might know someone that could help provide resources for them or have an idea. We definitely need to support what you're doing. The investment in the youth in our community, that's our total future in this town. Everybody knows that. And so I'm really, really happy to have spent this hour. Carmen, great job finding these folks. Excellent. I'm glad we could bring you here today. Melissa Sawyer and Glenna Scott, hats off.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining our show.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to share with
thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to contact the Youth Empowerment Project, you can go to info. You can email them at info@youthempowermentproject.org, or they're at www.youthempowermentproject.org. That's like YEP, Y-E-P, affirmative. And this is the phone number here, 522-1316.
Yes.
Okay, for people that want to make the call. Let's support these folks. And
GED number, you want that again?
what's that? Yeah.
The GED number again is 658-9221. And Jerome Jupiter is our Director of Educational Services up there. So he'll be happy to get folks, in and registered and working toward that GED.
Well, this is like, the legal show here in New Orleans, and like a lot of us are not like super wealthy, but we are going to good karma you a gigantic grant from somewhere, okay?
Wonderful.
All of our listeners are just going to wish that on you, because we really want to see more and more people come into your program, especially the youth in the court system. It's a tough road for some kids, because once they get on the other side of the law, that's maybe the side their family and the people in their family know the best. And it seems more normal than we want it to. So we are so thankful that someone thought this up and is doing this. It's happening in our community. Some good things are happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a little bit even overtime, and they let me go here because we had such good guests. And this is Russell Stegeman with Carmen Afaro, thanking you for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday from 2 to 3 o'clock with another show next week on The Legal Show here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. If you can't get it on the air, you can always stream it on your computer. Don't tell your boss. Listen to Russell every Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody.